into the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another NXT After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm Kathy Kelly, and joining me, the selfie princess.
I'll be a duke, like a kick-ass selfie duke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm Mark Donick, and I'm flipping excited. You can find me on Twitter, Soapbox Mark, and we're going to be following ABTV NXT throughout the show. And if you have a question, please send it through there or in the live chat. I'll probably be on the hashtag a little bit more, just so I can be doing this.
He's really excited today because we have a special guest. But before I announce our special guest, which hopefully you all already know who it is, sitting next to Mark, Hobo.
Yes, and the Tough Enough video is now on the official WWE YouTube page, so go check that out.
The YouTube page.
The page. Got more P in there. As of last look, it was 3,700 views. So, hey.
That is
and
crazy.
thank you for all the positive comments. It's
yes,
fantastic.
Thank you for the positive comments.
Yeah. Well, we really hope you get on Tough Enough and then get on NXT and then get on the main roster and bring us all with you. So.
Can you do that?
That would be great.
See
Thanks.
what I can do.
Joining us for a very, very special interview today, we have the gorgeous one, Tyler Breeze. Yeah. Tyler Breeze will be calling into the show a little bit later, so stick around for that interview. We've been really fortunate to have been getting great interviews with the talent down at NXT. As we mentioned earlier, we aren't able to answer every single question, but we do want to answer some of the questions that you have, so follow us along in the chat roll and then use the hashtag ABTVNXT throughout the show, and we will answer some of your questions. So let's dive right into NXT last night. We start off, I'm going to skip over some of the packages that they showed last week. And yeah, there was a lot of recap. These shows are now a full hour long. They used to be, you know, somewhere between 40, 50 minutes, and we're getting 59 minutes every single time now.
So if this was on actual television, it would be an hour and a half, if not more.
Yeah.
Because their commercial breaks are only like 30 seconds to a minute, and they're all WWE related. Mm-hmm. So it's a full show.
It's more show for your buck, really.
It's arguably more of a show than SmackDown, and that's not a crack because SmackDown is usually the recap show with like 3-4 matches.
Wah, 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 wah,
yeah.
wah.
That's the truth.
Well, let's get into last night's episode. We start off Kevin Owens. Obviously, there's going to be a huge crossover between NXT and the main roster. It's already started, but the culmination of everything will happen this Sunday at Elimination Chamber with his match against John Cena. He says, I was going to come out here and issue an open challenge, but I'm not insecure. I don't need to defend my title to prove myself. I like when people earn their matches. And then he said, another example of me being a good person. When Samoa Joe walked out, I chose to let him live. People say I backed down, but that statement is as ridiculous as the colors of John Cena's merch.
He did a double promo.
Oh, snap.
That was amazing.
Oh,
it sounded like what he was saying, I let you live in the moment. Like he did it for the fans to not take on Joe just because this is such a cool moment. I wanted you to have it for a little while longer. Don't worry, you'll get the match at whenever I decide it or whenever he earns it, but I gave that to you.
Yeah.
This is what promos are all about. It's not just about yelling into a microphone of I'm gonna hurt somebody. It's about explaining your actions. It's about adding context to something that occurred in the moment. And granted, it's one person's opinion of the events that took place, as clearly colored by Kevin Owens, but that's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah. Overall, great promo. Regal comes out. Kevin Owens is just making enemies everywhere, including Mr. William Regal himself. But he comes out and he says, in the last 6 months you've been here, you have been, like, several of the top talent that we have been stretchered out because of you. And Regal's kind of fed up with it. Lists off the guys, mentions a Tommy. Owens is like, no, you can't prove that. That didn't happen. Even though we're pretty sure that's what happened. And
That's
then
a shame.
Owen says he had nothing to do with the Tommy, and Sami Zayn actually had it coming to him because Sami Zayn asked for the match.
That I can agree with. He said, I told him what was going to happen. He asked for it anyway. You signed the contract. You made the match. And people are mad at me for some reason. I also like the, hey, before you get mad at me about headbutting you, he was like, you touched me first. So it's like, that's the only reason why you still have a job.
All of his...
He has a moment of, oh.
Everything that he says makes sense. You just hate him.
Yeah.
But it's skewed. It's just entirely skewed toward his defense. It's like, I'm the good guy in this situation. All of these things that I do, I'm the good guy. But in reality, you can see it differently. He just uses rounded logic.
I love what Sam Roberts said last week on our show about how that's what happens when you only have one heel down at NXT is he has to go through the entire roster. That's exactly what he's doing.
That makes him look amazing.
Yeah. So after this, Solomon Crow, another person from the roster, comes out and he says, I can't listen to this garbage any longer. Owens then says Crow will be added to the list of people stretchered out of the ring by him.
Well, that was great. It was like, so this, add him to the list. It was just so casual, but very imposing. And we've finally got a chance to see Solomon Crow kind of enter the title picture.
Yeah.
Arguably.
Well,
But still.
in a way, he's taking on the champ.
Yeah, that's a great
If he
start.
wins, technically he's #1 contender. So
Him and Finn stand side by side.
exactly.
How many people does Kevin Owens have to still go through?
About 5 or 6 maybe.
A lot.
But I like Solomon Crow's voice. You know, he's not very big, but he's got this presence, and it starts with his voice. It's gruff. It's rough. You pay attention to it. You believe he's a tough guy because he's got this voice.
This is
Kevin
the
Owens
first
makes
that
fun of
we're really seeing of his personality, which I'm enjoying.
All of his promos are solid. The ones in the back, the ones before he really started. They're all good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just continued.
Absolutely.
Like it. So they replay Hideo getting attacked a couple weeks ago, or last week, I guess is when they showed it. And then Bayley versus Emma is the first match of the night. Emma has her new batter music. She's accompanied by Dana
Evil
Brooke. And Emma ends up winning this match with the Emma lock by submission. Bayley taps. What'd you guys think of it?
I don't know why we had this match on a show instead of on a pay-per-view. I'm kind of not gonna let that go. But of course, this isn't the end. They're gonna keep it going. They might have like the final match at the next special or at Aftershock. I mean, what? They have
a slew of live events coming up as well.
Yeah,
So.
so that part of the tour, a slurry of live events. If they just need to be cage match, they need to be together with no outside interference.
Yeah.
They gave Dana and Charlotte something to do, which was nice. Just pack the show. It was a good match. I don't think they need the intro on Emma's music, like the old intro with the boop boop boop.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit, and it doesn't like fade into the new stuff. It's just stop, new stuff.
I think that it will eventually go into just the new song. I mean, like, it's one of those things where we don't associate her yet with this
True.
batter set. Like, I
Right.
still want the nice, happy Emma.
You need
Betts
that
and
recognition when she comes out for the fans. The fans are going to go, oh, it's Emma. Because you can't just have new music and them go, who the hell are you? They have to go, oh, it's Emma. Oh, this is Emma's new thing.
After probably 3 or 4 more times coming out, I could see them dropping the beginning portion.
Yeah, next taping probably.
Yeah.
And Emma just fought so dirty in this.
It's great.
She's looking good as a badass.
She used her hair as a handle.
Yeah.
Just tried to pull the entire
Snapmare with
thing
the
off
hair.
her hair. My God.
So during this match, Dana is flexing on the outside of the ring.
Oh, is she?
And
I
then,
couldn't notice.
You couldn't notice?
Oh, I should say I didn't want to notice. My apologies.
Anyways, she gets in the ring after the match is over and helps Emma further attack Bayley. Then Charlotte comes out to Bayley's aid, takes out Dana, and then goes after Emma. But then Dana Brooke grabs Charlotte, and what's the name of that move? Is it a? I looked it up online, and it said it was a Samoan driver, but
no, it's not.
It's like kind of like a Michinoku, kind of.
Kind of, but
modified
it's
Michinoku.
not the brand.
I forget what it's called.
It looked like a regular layout of like a Death Valley driver, but with a front.
I mean, I will give her.
You pick him up and then you sit out with it, but from there it's the Samoan setup and then the Michinoku.
Yeah.
She is very strong that she can lift another female over her head.
I want to see her do it to like Mojo or something, because that'll be like.
Damn.
Deco strong. That'll be cool. Go off of that.
It's less about strength and more about finesse. You have to be able to move them to the side at the same time you pop up. So it's a smoother motion. It didn't look as smooth this time around. Usually she's done it a little bit more with a little bit more flow. But not this time. That's all right though.
Mm-hmm. I like that we're still seeing this feud continue though.
Me too.
It's great. Last week, backstage, we see Renee with Baron Corbin and Rhino, the thing that you mentioned you didn't like, where Rhino was just like, yeah, that was fun, let's do it again.
No big, let's go again. That was fun,
It's also kind of like the ECW mentality, though. Nothing's personal, you hit each other as hard as you possibly can, and nothing's personal.
Well, I will quote the famous Adele Dazeem, let it go.
Got a laugh from the booth. Next up, we have Blake and Murphy with Alexa Bliss, and this is a match against Mike Rallis and Elias Sampson.
Yeah,
flawless Mike Rallis. We had a chance to see him at the NXT live events at WrestleMania. Kid's pretty good.
Him and Hugo Knox. It was a really good match.
Yeah. And then since then, I think Hugo's gotten surgery, so he's out for a little bit.
He's just fixing himself up.
Yeah.
Like a car.
Blurfy wins. And then Alexa gets on the top rope for the Sparkle Splash. I want to know what that's going to be renamed.
I think it'll stay the same, but I think she'll just come out to Blake and Murphy's music and bring the boys with her.
Okay.
As opposed to just still being herself.
I'm liking her as a heel, and like the all red get up looks fine.
Yeah.
I think they got it right on commentary. She said from the very beginning she likes sparkle, and those belts sure are sparkly, aren't they?
Makes sense.
And she follows him around.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you think of this match? And do you think that we could see an intergender match with this tag team in the future?
Intergender 6-person tag.
Yes.
Yeah. I do.
Most definitely. You almost have to.
I think that's what they set it up for.
I got asked on Twitter, I forget who it was by, but they asked, would we want to see Blake and Murphy and Alexa versus Kid, Cesaro, and Natty?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
But I would also like to see Enzo, Cass, and...
Well, first
Carmella.
First, you gotta do that. And then you can take on the former tag team champions.
Yeah.
Yes. That was Danilo Papias. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I apologize.
Phonetically spell it and we'll figure it out.
Danilo P.
Yeah.
Thanks.
There you go.
So, after this match, Finn Balor versus Ty Dillinger. What do you guys think?
Fantastic. Because didn't Finn mention Ty?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So it was great to see that, and the same thing with the tag matches. It wasn't a squash. We got to see a lot of good strength and offense from Samson and Rawless, and now for this, we got to see a solid. I think if they gave him a little bit more time, like instead of just making Finn like he's number one contender, he's coming.
Yeah.
I think they could tear the house down because that was entertaining.
That was a great match. I'm still every time we see Ty, I'm waiting to see his perfect 10 skirt. 10. Yeah. When is that going to debut on TV? Because we've heard so much about it. We've seen so much about it on social media. We've heard so much about it at the live shows. When are we going to see it debut on TV?
Well, I mean, even later in this show, there was a when are we going to see this kind of moment? I mean, we'll get there, but it was that was like, oh,
Yeah.
now really? Okay.
What were some of your highlights from the match? What'd you enjoy?
Really, they just look so solid. It looked like Finn was in firm control, and then all of a sudden, Ty Dillinger has the upper hand. That's how quickly these things can turn. And it wasn't necessarily a single movement that actually got him the upper hand. It was a series of smaller movements that sort of threw Finn off his game. And I think that Ty absolutely looked in control when he was on top, and then all of a sudden, just like that, things change again, and coup de grace.
I was going to say that, Ty Dillinger, even though he lost, looked really strong during this.
Fantastic. I want to see more.
Definitely.
He's working a lot.
He's a
Live
perfect
events.
10.
He's a perfect 10.
That hair, though, don't know about the hair being a perfect 10.
We'll wait until, like, once the rest fills out.
We really gotta. I mean, this is as good as it gets, really.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, it smells so bad.
Whatever, I work out a lot.
Was that a signal that we have them on the phone? Awesome.
Oh,
So, on the phone, we have Tyler Breeze. So, Tyler, we have on our podcast myself, Kathy, Mark Donica,
Hello, Tyler.
and True Hobo.
greetings.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. Couldn't be doing better.
Well, thank you for calling in today.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and we wanted to get started with this interview. Congratulations on the E60 special. We all loved seeing the behind the scenes of how your character came about. We know that you're really close friends with Xavier Woods, and that was kind of highlighted in the special. I heard he was actually the one that helped you kind of get noticed down at NXT with your new character.
He really was. We, kind of been through it all together, and I don't know if Tyler Breeze would have came around without him. It really kind of I kind of got into it on the E60 stuff, but there's a lot more to it, obviously, and he was just, it kind of came. I came to a crossroads down there, and it was something's going to happen or something else was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I kind of explained it to him of like, what do I do? And he just kind of said, you know what, man, we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it happen. And fortunately for me, he is a genius when it comes to technology stuff.
I heard he can do video editing like no one else.
He's insane. To say he's a genius at one thing, it's he's kind of a genius at all things. And at the time, he somehow got a hold of some like video editing or it was like a not Photoshop, but like a kind of extended version or like a limited edition one, like something really good, and you could do all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
And so we had been playing around, like he'd come by the apartment all the time, and we would play around with these little features that he could make, and we'd do stuff where it was like I'd be throwing a fireball out of my hand, or like something like just little kind of cool stuff, but like fun. Fun, just kind of, we got some time on our hands, let's try to do this. And he was figuring out how to do it, how to edit these really good videos. Mm-hmm. And so, he basically said, yeah, you know what, we're going to turn this around. I'm going to come over today and come up with 5 or 10 characters and just, we're going to just throw them at everybody and just say, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? What about this one?
That's awesome.
And, and I came up with 3 different ones. One was like a snowboarder. One was kind of like a darker version of Mike Dalton, which I was at the time, and then the other one was Tyler Breeze. And I remember we were doing it, and we had an initial kind of vision for what it was going to be. And as we were filming it, we were laughing our heads off because something would just pop up, and we would just do it. And then we would sit there and laugh, and then we'd watch it back, and then and then he edited it into these videos, and they were like a video pitch. And I emailed them out to everyone, and I remember me and him just kind of laughing to ourselves and just kind of saying, like, that one was too fun. That one was too good. That was too fun. I don't know. We're hoping, fingers crossed, that they'll choose this one, but we really don't know what they're going to choose, if any. I had 8 other characters ready to go. And I ended up getting a couple emails back saying, you might have something with this Tyler Breeze thing.
Yeah.
And I just kind of went from there, but, none of it would have happened unless he made these videos, which turned out so good for me, and for him, he's done a lot for a lot of other people down here too.
So with the Tyler Breeze character, just have to ask, you said you were inspired by Gorgeous George and Shawn Michaels, but while creating the character, how many times did you watch Zoolander?
It really, you know what? It didn't come in until later. It
What?
was, you know, everybody kind of says, you know, oh, it must have been inspired by Zoolander. But the funny thing is, it really wasn't until later. I had kind of based it on. I was explaining this in another interview I did. I based it on some people that I had seen come in and try out. And there's a lot of people in a lot of different industries that kind of do that. You know, there's people on the outside and they look in and go, you know, that can't be that hard. I could do this. And, you know, they come in and they, you know, start learning some of the basics and stuff like that. And I was fortunate enough that, you know, I get to work with all these people coming in. They were actors and models and stuff like that. And people, you know, they were just giving it a try. But they just happened to say some funny things. And at the time I was doing, you know, I was Mike Dalton and, you know, I'd go out there and I'd wrestle matches and I was a wrestler. I was very much a wrestler and, you know, tights and boots, and I'd go out there and I'd have wrestling matches, and nobody really wanted to see it. And so I just kind of thought, you know what, why not go entirely the opposite of it? And I know nothing. I'm going to wrestle like I don't know how to wrestle. I'm going to talk like I'm just this outsider looking in. And, you know, from there it kind of turned into that he was a model, and then from there he kind of turned into, you know, I started doing the face at the end of interviews. And, you know, then I kind of started watching some Zoolander stuff, and I switched my voice a little bit, and it just kind of took little bits and pieces. And as I kind of got into doing some more interviews and stuff like that, it kind of turned into more of Ben Stiller from Dodgeball than it actually was Zoolander. You know, like I was just kind of this I was just kind of this loose cannon that would just start, you know, getting angry at everything, and any question you asked me was the stupidest question I've ever heard in my life. You know what I mean?
Well, it really sounds like you let your creativity flow. And it bled really into your ring gear. You have some of the most unique ring gear in NXT right now. What was the inspiration for that? How many pieces do you have? Just tell me all about it. I'm very curious.
You sound curious. Yeah. I actually, you know what? I actually have the first outfit I wore at the first takeover against Sami Zayn, where I beat him and became number one contender. Up for auction right now. There's only 7 hours left. You can bid on it if you want at WWE auction. But in terms of how much I actually have, I think right now I'm probably at about like 10 sets of fur with like 2 pairs of tights for each one, I think. And the idea I had was, it was kind of something I had, you know, when I was just kind of wrestling before WWE. I was, you know, I was kind of the 80s baby face of, you know, bright colors and tassels and everything. And, you know, very Marty Jannetty-ish. And I just kind of had this idea of, I wonder if I could make fur tassels. I think that would be really cool. And I just never did it. I never did it for years. And then when I was kind of reinventing myself, I was like, you know what? I think this is the type of character that could pull it off. And I kind of went with that, and then, you know, added the vest to it, and it just kind of went from there. And now I'm pushing it even farther and seeing what else I can wear. But it's cool. I mean, I like wearing it. I kind of feel weird if I don't have it on.
The cape was an excellent touch at the last takeover. I will say that. You since you got signed to WWE pretty early in your career, but before you did you have any goals when it came to traveling the world to perform and train?
I did a little bit. My goal was always WWE. It was kind of the thing. You know, when I was a kid, I was 6 years old, and that was what my dad showed me. It was WWE. And I didn't even know that any other wrestling existed. I didn't know WCW existed. I didn't know Japan existed. I just assumed WWE was everywhere. And that was just kind of the goal. And as I kind of went through school, you know, everything was geared towards WWE. And once I went and trained with Lance Storm, I kind of, you know, started learning more about. I think I happened to watch maybe sometime in high school. I grew up. I didn't have cable or anything, and I used to have someone tape Monday Night Raw for me, and I would, you know, pick up the tape every Tuesday, and I would end up watching it.
A videotape.
I think he ended up taping like a Nitro or something one time, and I saw Goldberg against Raven for the U.S. title, and it was my first time. Like, what is this? Like, these aren't, you know, the guys I'm used to. And it kind of introduced me to WCW, and, you know, I just kind of went from there and started learning more and more and more. And when I went to train with Lance, he had this, you know, extensive collection of Japanese stuff, and I kind of just started learning. You know, there's so much more than WWE, but still, my personal goal was always to go to WWE. And after, you know, 4 years, I just kind of said, you know, why not go to the source and, you know, find out what I need to do, And if I need to go somewhere else, if I need to travel to Japan, if I need to go to Mexico, then I will do that. But if WWE wants me, then I'm ready to go there, and whatever they say, I'm going to do. So I thought that was always the goal for me personally.
You can achieve anything if you just ask.
Yeah, you know what? That really goes far. Like, what's the worst they say? No.
True.
It's a very smart worldview. How did training with Lance Storm prepare you for life with WWE and then NXT?
You know what? I couldn't really ask for better training. From going from nothing to being ready to wrestle in 3 months. I mean, he kind of prepared me for everything that I was going to encounter and how the WWE was, because he was still fairly relevant at the time. I trained with him. I think it was 2007. So he was fresh off of WWE, and he knew people still. He had connections still. And he kind of, he went out of his way to talk to everybody that trained with him about money, about, working with agents, about working with other people, about, the etiquette. The etiquette was very important. And he just he was very good at avoiding the landmines, you know what I mean? And just kind of navigating and figuring out where you want to go and, not to do the wrong thing. And he was very just informative about everything, and, just about life in general. I've always kind of taken a lot of his advice and still look to him for advice for a lot of different things.
Awesome. So this is one of our favorite questions to ask on our show. We want to know, what wrestlers do you think are underrated at NXT, or maybe fans should keep an eye out for?
I always wonder about that, because everybody on Twitter and everybody, kind of who's voicing their opinions, they always use that. They always use like the underrated or the overrated, or, I don't know. There's a lot of good people, a lot of deserving people. But underrated, I don't know. I don't like to say underrated. Maybe people you haven't seen yet. And that's, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson are a great tag team that have yet to debut on TV. I think maybe like a couple little things here and there, but you guys really haven't kind of seen what they can do. And we have a lot of new people coming in that you can already see that they're going to be good.
Yeah.
But I don't want to kind of jump the gun on stuff like that. But there is, we've got a good crop of people from top to bottom that's really helping out NXT, and it's making it into something that me personally and a lot of different people are wanting to watch. So it's cool.
Wilder and Dawson seem like the answer across the board every single time we ask.
We've had you're our fourth interview over the phone, and everybody who we ask that question says Dawson and Wilder, and we got to interview him at WrestleMania. It was really cool.
Yeah. You know what? Another one I'll add to the list is Ty Dillinger.
He's another one.
Fans said that too.
There's a couple across the board that are really, give it a couple months time and you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Very cool. Now, let's change gears a little bit. Let's talk about your entrance music. I mean, you are one of the very few people who has recorded their own entrance music. Now, whose idea specifically was that?
You know what? It's Tyler Breeze, and in general, kind of everything I've done has been a collaborative effort from a lot of different people. Even if it's just little bits and pieces. But that personally, and I thought it was really cool that I even got the opportunity to do that. But I believe that was a Triple H call, and I just kind of got the email one day saying, "Hey, when you did the PC, 9 o'clock to do a voiceover thing," and I just kind of thought, okay, cool. I'll probably go in there and say a sentence or two or whatever. And the next thing I know, I've got an email that's got like a full thing of lyrics, and I just kind of go, Am I singing my own entrance theme? And they said, yeah. You didn't know? And I said, no. I thought I was just doing like something for like a little bit part or whatever. But yeah, I ended up doing the whole thing, and I thought that was cool that I even got the opportunity to do that, because there's only been a handful of people that can say they've done that or have done that.
Yeah, I think we popped the first time we heard it. It was so awesome.
And the whole video, like, I could watch that all day. It's flippant. It's one of the funnithat things.
Mark does watch that all day. He has a little bit of a man crush on you.
I told you not to say that.
So, yeah, I thought that they did such a good job with the music video. It was just funny, I didn't even know we were going to do it, and then all of a sudden, I got a new entrance song, I got a new music video. I was like, what am I doing here? This is awesome. This is so cool.
It's one of the most entertaining things that has been put out from NXT. What we wanted to ask, what match you've been in a lot, we understand. What match have you been involved in that's been your favorite?
I don't know now. There's been several that have been kind of like the cornerstones or the milestones for me that have kind of taken me to different levels. Because when I debuted this character, we kind of did a couple different things with it, but it took me probably, I don't know the exact date of whenever that first takeover was, but that first takeover with Sami Zayn, that one really kind of moved me into a different bracket of, how people view me and how, how Tyler Breeze was actually seen. It wasn't just like some guy who can come out and he's kind of dressed up and he's kind of funny and whatever. It was someone who, hung in there with, one of the top guys in NXT. And so that definitely pushed me into a different view all around. And even for myself, even just being in that scenario was just totally different from being on the other side of where I was. That one kind of brought me to a different level. And I got to work with Zayn a lot. I got to work with Neville a lot. I loved working with Neville. I thought those were really fun. We had, even more that people didn't really get to see, just on live events and stuff like that, but we had a lot of fun. Zayn was really good. I thought when Hideo came in, I really liked all the stuff to do with Hideo. I thought that one kind of, took it to another level as well, because he's, such a star and he's got international appeal. He's not just an NXT guy or WWE guy. He is coming in and, there was a lot of buzz to him. And, everything that we did, I thought was really kind of different from anything that I had done with Zayn or Neville. It was just kind of like almost like grittier maybe, and just kind of showing that I can hang in there with someone who, kicks the crap out of you essentially. And I thought that stuff worked out really well. And then, now even moving on to Finn, who's another international superstar. Just getting to work with all these guys, I think that everything that's been happening has been really good, for everybody. I think it's been making some good TV that people want to see, and I think there's still some matchups out there that people are waiting to see.
Definitely. And I know you hate the word underrated, but we constantly get feedback from our fans saying that they want to see you with the NXT title. I feel like you've been so close, but
and thinking about,
we don't get to see it.
Thinking about making a fuzz border for the NXT Championship, like everybody used to do with like the Intercontinental Championship, like Ultimate Warriors, different colored stuff. To have you fur out the NXT Championship would be the ultimate accessory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Last question. Obviously, Kevin Owens has a match against John Cena this Sunday at Elimination Chamber, and this is one of the first times we've seen a huge NXT main roster crossover. So with this match, who do you root for? Like, do you root for the guy coming from NXT, or do you root for John Cena, who's more established?
You know what? I don't know about rooting for either of them. You know what I mean? I think in general, it's good for everything. It's very intriguing, and it's something that's fresh. And I think that's the thing is, I always laugh at everybody, you know what I mean? Because everybody wants to be ahead of the curve. They want to know what's going on, and then they want to disagree with it. They want to know what's happening before it happens, and then they hate it. No matter what, they hate it. So, you know what I mean? But then they're excited to see what the next thing that comes along that they can hate. So I always laugh at it and think it's funny. But they watch. They love fresh. Everybody loves fresh. They want to see, and even if something's happened for a couple of weeks, they feel like it's old already. Like the world's so quick moving. And even just the last couple of weeks there, or the month, with Zayn coming up and, showing that he can hang with Cena. Mm-hmm. And then, Neville just freshly debuting, and he's showing he can hang with Cena. And now we got Owens coming up, and he's laying out Cena and, creating a lot of intrigue heading into this pay-per-view. And I think it's less about the individuals, and now it's more about NXT. And it's showing that NXT is, it is WWE. It's not below it. It's side by side. And now it's to the point where, I don't know if people are choosing, but they're really interested to watch. And they're really interested to see, it's not, we don't know these guys. They know everybody who's coming. They know Zayn. They know Neville. They know Owens. They know these guys. Mm-hmm. And they've been watching them. And, I don't know if they're rooting for them, but they're definitely, going to be watching against Cena, because that's kind of like WWE against NXT. You know what I mean? And now, like, the more we do that type of stuff, the WWE against NXT, it's fresh, and people, they like it. You know what I mean? They're talking about it, and you know that they're going to be watching it.
Yeah. That's got to be such a cool feeling for you, being down there in the prime of NXT.
Yeah, just even being, you know, one of the mainstays or a part of it. You know, I'm getting to go to all these shows. I mean, we've been here doing the shows in Florida, and the Florida people, you know, everybody here in Florida has been, you know, loving our stuff for years now. Mm-hmm. But now the fact that we're getting to go to Philly and Albany, and like the crowds there were just, you know, they were so cool. They're just, everybody is a part of something. And, you know, even we've had guys like Rhino coming in and Tommy Dreamer coming in, and they're saying the same thing. You know, like, NXT isn't just NXT. It's got this feel to it. It's got the atmosphere to it. And it's very similar to that same thing that ECW had, where the people, you know, they're very loyal, and they're very, they feel like NXT is cutting edge, and they feel like it's something new. The people are new. The matches are new. Everything's so, you know, it's just so, I don't know if it's like, you know, ahead of its time or whatever, but it's just, it's intriguing TV that people are wanting to watch over and over. And the fact that I'm getting to be in the opportunities that I'm in, and getting to be in front of the fans that I'm seeing in WrestleMania weekend in San Jose, and, you know, we've got more shows coming up in Pittsburgh and Cleveland and everything.
We're going to Aftershock, which was just announced. We're excited for that. Finally coming to the West Coast again.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that's popping up that, you know, we don't even know about yet, and day to day stuff's popping up, more opportunities are popping up, and the fact that we're getting to do that is just, you know, it's cool, very cool.
Well, Tyler, thank you so much for calling in today. It was a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you in Sacramento.
Awesome.
All right. That was great.
Yes.
Let me tell you, that man's a good interview.
Yeah.
He was hilarious. He accurately described every wrestling fan.
He described our audience.
Yeah.
And we just killed the IWC.
Whatever. They'll kill us back with words.
Well,
harmless words.
We're here to keep it positive. So let's talk about Dana Brooke.
You guys.
Did I really pop you with that? All right. That was great.
Are you okay?
I'm absolutely fine. Why did you have to embarrass me in front of that man?
Well, I don't think it was embarrassing. It was.
That's unprofessional.
I am the most professional.
Such toast professional. You are the toast professional. All right.
Anyways,
Wait, do we know who our fourth guest is yet?
we will announce it next week.
Okay. All right.
You guys have to tune in next week, and we will
I
announce
like
it.
that sly look from Kathy. We will announce it next week.
I mean, I know who it is.
We do too, but we can't announce it yet.
Yes.
Yes.
I have to give a shout out to the Clement W, who keeps spoiling us with awesome, like, Photoshop
shit, you
stuff.
bitch.
And then he just sent us. Well, sent me.
Yeah, us. That's like helping us so much.
I can wear those
He
shirts
sent me
just
some
fine.
shirts. He sent me Bailey's shirt because I like hugging, and Sasha's shirt because I'm the boss of NXT ABTV, and
Yeah, okay.
and
Boss of
Finn
the
Balor's
NXT.
shirt because.
Because
I
because of the wonderful things you do.
his Photoshop explained it perfectly.
Yep.
for our interview today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. So we do have a little bit more in our show to
Where did we
recap.
leave off?
We left off with Finn Balor versus Ty Dillinger's match.
How about that? Every single person that we have interviewed has been Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson.
And Ty Dillinger.
And well, not everybody, but
lot of people,
most
yeah.
everybody. We didn't get it like. Again, the match between them and Enzo and Cass is one of the most entertaining tag team matches that I have seen.
You can just keep it. It's I don't know what it is. I don't know why they're not on TV.
Well, they
It's just a matter
almost
of
had a
time.
match
That
a couple
pissed me off
weeks
so
ago.
much because it was against Zoe and Cass, and I was like, "Are we finally going to see the match on TV?"
Yeah.
But also, we saw them in the parking lot segment with Hideo. I want to. If anybody out there can find the video of Sami Zayn versus Scott Dawson, I will be forever in your debt. I'll send you cupcakes that Kathy makes.
What? I remember seeing Scott Dawson, like 2 years ago at this point at SummerSlam, and that's when he was paired with Alexa Bliss.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
Remember the short stint with him and Sylvester Lethut?
Yeah.
Which we've not seen from in a while.
Well,
he's doing a lot of painting.
Regardless, I think it will be really cool once they finally do debut. We'll all be in for a treat. So
absolutely,
yeah. Next up, we had Ty Dillinger's former tag team partner being interviewed by Greg Hamilton. They talk about his fallout with Ty Dillinger, and Greg Hamilton asks Jason Jordan if he's found a new partner yet. He says no, and then Chad Gable walks over and he says, "What about me?"
Just innocuously in the background.
Because
it's not like,
Gable towel.
Hey, we're recording. Everybody clears so we can shoot it.
My cauliflower ears are burning.
Yeah, that was funny.
It feels so far removed from their breakup. Like, are we? I don't want to say does anybody remember that, but it's just sort of like, is it relevant at this point what he's doing?
And also, wasn't Jordan talking about like making it on his own? That's what it seemed like. It seemed like, I don't need a tag team partner. I'm going to be me. Then it's like, okay, so what tag team partner? Are you looking for a tag team partner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like these two together, or do you find it odd?
I like Gable. Jordan hasn't ever really shown too much personality, I think. He looks like he looked like a Charlie Haas or any of the amateur wrestler style people that come down. So it's like, what can you do to make it different and to make it stand out?
Yeah.
Because Gable, he talked about being from the same ilk. So okay, we got the world's greatest tag team again.
But Gable has a lot of personality. There's a lot there for some reason that he just is able to draw on at a moment's notice. He's got charisma.
I like that he cited that he was on the Olympic team.
Like, do you know the Olympics? Kind of a big deal.
I think you've heard of that. Yes, of course I've heard of it.
What are the Olympics?
They're a bunch of rings. They're about 5 rings, multicolored. They put them together.
Like wrestling rings?
No. Actual like ring okay. Circular rings. Yeah.
And the wrestlers have to put it together before the show?
No. They just
it's like War Games, but with 5 rings.
Right.
I don't know if you'll get that joke, but some people will.
They're like set up in a W pattern for win because they want to win.
You have to. It's like a 3 out of 5 falls match, and you have to win in every single ring.
Does Frodo go after them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. I think I got it.
Good night, everybody.
So
that was our joke for the week.
That was a really long joke. I'm sorry. I apologize. So last match of the night, we have Kevin Owens versus Solomon Crowe. The bell rings. Kevin Owens just jumps out of the ring, and
Classic.
Then what was that?
Classic.
At the end of the match, Kevin Owens does a senton, then pop-up powerbomb, ends up winning.
Crow got him with a really good right when he was starting to come back up that took him to a knee. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Solomon Crowe is not to be undersold.
Crow can take a bump. There were a couple.
Absolutely. I mean, he came up the hard way, and he's not a big guy. So when you're that size, let's say our size, because I figure we're about the same size, you got to learn to move, and you got to learn to take that beating and absorb it. And then when the crowd starts to give you the energy, you have to know what to do with that energy. As soon as the crowd started chanting "Crow, Crow, Crow," got up and just slugged Owens right in the mouth. That's what you got to do. You got to use the energy that they give you to fuel your own abilities.
Yeah. After the match, Kevin Owens is about to do more damage to Solomon Crowe, but Samoa Joe's music hits. He comes out. Kevin Owens just runs back into the ring.
And he's like, we're gonna fight. Well, no, he puts the belt down as if to be like, cross this line.
Yeah.
And he grabs it and he leaves.
And then he runs away.
And he's like, I'm doing you a favor. I'm letting...
But when he was walking up the ramp, he's like, the champ is here. I was like, oh, I thought you said that everything Cena does is stupid, and then...
That's the joke. That's what I like, is he still, from being a jerk, he turned it back into a Cena promo. He's been double promoting the whole night, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be really smart to pull stuff like that.
Tough.
Not only do you have to see the opponent in front of you, you have to see the opponent behind him. Mm-hmm. So you just, it's understanding the depth of everything that's happening. I think Kevin Owens really does have his eye on the complete ball. And he's going to run away from that ball as fast as he possibly can.
It's like Indiana Jones and the boulder.
Exactly.
Can't stop the run.
What were some of your other highlights from this match, since I just kind of breezed over it?
See what you did there. It was
Not intentionally.
it was solid. I mean, they're trying to push the idea of Kevin is the monster. Everybody was chanting, get the stretcher, and he said it himself, which was smart. But it was good, but I want to see some more even back and forth, and I hope that Crow will get another opportunity at least relatively soon.
Yeah.
Crow's likable. He's relatable. He's sort of that outsider, and you get that just from his look. It's definitely not like anybody else's, which is perfect because that's exactly what you need to do.
Makes him more memorable.
And he takes a good beating. Everybody likes to see a guy get beat and come back, so he can deliver that in spades.
Yeah. Overall, solid show.
Ridiculously solid show.
Really good.
Fallout from the last takeover.
And I think we should talk about a couple of bits of news and rumors that have happened.
I'm gonna let you take the reins.
Okay.
The reins, get it?
TV news.
He's not in NXT anymore.
He's not.
Okay, so a couple of things have happened. First of all, there's a rumor, it hasn't been confirmed yet, that Sasha Banks is out with an injury, which sad. But there was also her fiance got rushed to the hospital, and so she wasn't a part of the tapings.
He was knocked out in ring.
Yeah.
Never fun to watch that.
No. So she went with him and stayed with him in the hospital. So people don't know if it's actually an injury or if it's just her being a good fiance. Aside from that, I know we've been talking about Shoot Nation and when Shoot Nation was going to make it to the main roster. It is no longer a 5-person stable. It's now just the tag team of Dawkins and I totally blanked on the other dude's name.
Oh.
Yeah, my bad. But so there's that, and then so we talked about it a bit. The Aftershock Festival, presented by Monster Energy Drink, is going to be right outside of Sacramento, California, October 24th and 25th. They're advertising Balor, Banks, Blurfy, Charlotte.
I love that that's catching on. Make Blurfy happen.
NXT
Blurfy.
Tag Team Champions Blurfy, Charlotte, Bayley, Baron Corbin, and more will be competing at the festival. Just in case you want to know what type of music is at this festival, here are some of the advertised bands.
All Time Low.
Is that a band, or are you just really not anticipating
I'm excited for them. I
Are
love
they
them.
there?
Yeah.
Okay, they're not on this list.
Oh, I have the press
slightly
release right in
excited.
front of me. Actually,
I've got it too.
well, you have the actual press release because
Shut
I
up.
just got it
Shut
in my
up.
email.
Well,
You monster.
whatever then.
Some of the advertised bands include
Slipknot, Faith No More, Deftones, Shinedown, Jane's Addiction, Marilyn Manson, Coheed and Cambria, Stone Temple Pilots, Breaking Benjamin, Seether, Bring Me the Horizon, All Time Low, Sleeping with Sirens, Eagles of Death Metal, Black Veil Brides, and many more, performing on 4 stages.
White people music. Got it.
It's a really huge.
It feels like Warped Tour. That's what it feels like. Plus NXT.
No.
So obviously, I want to go.
Warped Tour is for the wee ones.
Yeah.
What?
I think so.
known as
So
for the
it's like
kids.
Grown Up Warped Tour with Marilyn Manson and NXT.
I wonder if any of them are fans.
Yeah.
And if anyone will show up to the show and get involved. Or if it's going to be not necessarily televised, but we get a little bit more. Maybe it's an actual show like they did.
I think
in
it'll just be a
Ohio.
live show because
2 nights. It's 2 nights.
Yeah, and it's really difficult. I know for them to for their live events, they have 2 trucks that go out on the road. For the main roster, and then now with NXT traveling, that's a 3rd truck. To have a truck go from the East Coast all the way to Sacramento, I think would be really difficult with all of the camera equipment, so I don't think that it is going to be taped.
I wonder if they're going to borrow the regular trucks, because that's around the time of Hell in a Cell, and they're going to be in California. So if they just bring the ring aprons, at least for setting up a ring, and WWE only does live shows over the weekends. Like, you don't need
I suppose
everything.
it's possible it could work.
I know
don't
that it's a lot easier for them to tape in Orlando So I don't necessarily see it happening. I'm still excited if it is a live event and not a taping. Whatever they do, I'm just excited that they're coming to the West Coast.
Hopefully we get all of the, we get a Renee Young show, we get a Corey Graves show, and then something NXT, and then it's like it's kind of like a special. It's like a special look. It's like a spotlight on, if you will. But yeah, what is there? I'm gonna hit you. But
Do it.
But what about? So what? What is our status for that event, Kathy? It's so far away.
I actually just contacted their press people today, so it looks like we will be going. Hopefully doing some interviews, but we'll let you know more about that.
You'll be the first to know. Just follow the hashtag ABTVNXT.
Yes. Well, great episode.
Oh, great interview.
Okay, after show.
Maybe a B+.
We did what we could.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave your comments on our YouTube page. If you enjoyed the interview, let us know. Also, tweet us using the hashtag ABTVNXT, and subscribe to us on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. That's what helps us get more interviews like the one we had today with Tyler Breeze. Thank you so much to him for calling in. And where can they find you two?
You can find me on Twitter at SoapboxMark and at The Gimmick Pod, where we're going to do podcasting soon, and soapboxcardtv.spreadshirt.com, where you can get a gimmick shirt, and there might be other stuff going on there in the future.
And I'm at Chirobo on Twitter, ProWrestlingTees.com/hobo, where you can get the t-shirt. BoxcarSuperstar.com is the website. If you want to learn how to wrestle, call 818-381-T563. Go watch the Tough Enough video, share it. Who knows what the heck's going to happen? That's not a joke.
Why is our studio audience laughing? I don't understand.
They were quiet the whole time.
I know.
I will fight each and every one of you, I swear to God.
You can find me on Twitter at Catherine Kelly and on Instagram at Kathy Kelly. You can find all of us here on Twitter and Instagram at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you again next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.